look like steroid hormones and are considered endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors look eerily similar to a hormone, and they prevent the real hormones from functioning properly, which leads to disease. Hormones are critical because they help determine body function. They turn those genes on or off. So if you want to hear more about hormones, I did do a podcast on that, so I encourage you to go back to the archives and check that podcast out to learn more on hormones, so you can understand a little bit more about why chemicals that look like hormones are so toxic and dangerous, and in particular to our unborn children. Finally, the Journal of Reproductive Toxicology also reported on phthalates, which comprise a large group of chemicals found in most homes. These chemicals are found in glue, building materials, personal care products, medical devices, detergents, packaging, children's toys, pharmaceutical medications, food products, and textiles. Unborn children exposed to these chemicals are at increased risk of developmental defects, such as abnormal neurological development in girls and undefended testes in boys. Now, all these statistics are pretty scary, but I'm not trying to scare you here. I'm trying to inform you because we need to change the conversation around prenatal care. But if this information worries you and leaves a pit at the bottom of your stomach, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are being impacted by these childhood diseases. These diseases are not only expensive in terms of dollars, they're expensive in terms of missed opportunities for our children, missed opportunities for their families, the stress that's involved in having a chronically ill child. This is all very expensive. Childhood disease affects the entire family through multiple generations, not just the immediate family, but the extended family and friends. And these conditions are all preventable. These are simply because our children are being exposed to toxins that we are not aware of. So if these conditions are preventable, what is it that we can do? It definitely makes sense to create a sense of urgency so that we can intervene, doesn't it? Well, I decided to do all I could do to assure my kids were as healthy as possible, and I knew that the very field that I studied, OBGYN, would not suffice in that aim. So what can we do? If our current medical model does not focus on prevention of diseases, what can we do? Thankfully, we can be empowered to look outside of the box with an exciting new medical field whose main goal is the prevention of disease. And this is integrative medicine. And this is why very early after my residency training, I decided to go ahead and look at other avenues because I firmly believe that nature always had a solution for anything it could allow to happen. And what I learned is that I wouldn't be able to change the conventional model because it does what it does extremely well. It does prevent death from disease. It does diagnose diseases that would otherwise be life-threatening. So rather, I decided to look at other systems that were better equipped for the prevention of the diseases themselves and use them in conjunction. When my patients come to me with symptoms like fatigue, sleep disturbances, weight gain, depression, anxiety, and low sex drive, and they're planning on having a family, I know that they have some significant metabolic disturbances that we'll likely need to correct if we want to really do our best to prevent childhood diseases. Metabolic disturbances make it extremely difficult to rid the body of toxins. And if the mother's not able to rid her body of toxins, then those toxins are going to go directly to the baby. So the two systems of medicine I decided to study were the traditional Chinese medicine and functional medicine. And they provided some really good insight into what's going on and how we can prevent diseases. So when a toxin enters the body, as soon as it makes it into the bloodstream, it heads to the liver, where it should be removed from circulation, period. The liver is very, very adept at doing this, and that's one of its main purposes. So the question becomes, why does the liver not function properly? Why does the liver allow these toxins to continue to circulate through the body to the point where they make it to the umbilical cord and enter into a developing baby? Same story with the gastrointestinal system. When we eat a food, the gastrointestinal system is very, very well equipped to detoxify or to remove toxins so that our food is actually purified before it enters the bloodstream, giving the liver a lot less work to do. And then the toxins should exit the body through our feces and our urine if our gastrointestinal system is working properly. So these two systems fail if we end up with 300 different chemicals in the umbilical cord of a newborn baby. Our skin is also a detoxification organ, and when we put lotions on or we're exposed to chemicals through our skin is also a detoxification organ, which should escort those toxins back out of the body. So what's happening? What's going on? Why is the baby, undeveloped baby, still being exposed to up to 300 chemicals when we have 3 different detoxification systems in the mother's body that should be working? Turns out that these systems rely on numerous nutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fats, proteins, and even hormones to properly detox and remove toxins. So 74% of Americans have gut symptoms. Of those 74% who have either heartburn, bloating, nausea, vomiting, loose stools, or constipation, of those, it's estimated that 70% of them have a chronic gastrointestinal infection, most likely in the small intestine that we call SIBO, affecting their absorption of food. Infections will cause inflammation, which means that the cells that are responsible for digestion and absorption are swollen, not working right. So, of course, malabsorption of nutrients is a high likelihood under those conditions. This can also be linked to what's called a leaky gut. A leaky gut is when the barrier of the gastrointestinal system fails and toxins are allowed to leak through the gastrointestinal system before it's had a chance to get rid of them. These toxins then make it into the bloodstream, and then your liver has to deal with them. Now, if your gastrointestinal system was not working to provide nutrients to the liver, then that means the liver will also not be firing on all cylinders, and a lot of those toxins might make it through the liver back into the bloodstream and on to the baby. So it all begins to make sense when we start to look at statistics. Many conventional physicians still do not believe in the conditions of SIBO, which is a small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and even fewer of them believe in the leaky gut. Thankfully, Johns Hopkins University and Cleveland Clinic do believe in it, and they are beginning to study these conditions. It's a known fact that most Americans are not well nourished, even when they have the best of intentions. We do our best. We pick out the best foods we can. We eat organic. And yet, if we have an infection, none of these great nutrients that we're taking our time to prepare make it into the body, and our bodies continue to malfunction. Even when the gastrointestinal system is working, we also know based on studies that the quality of our food is not there. And when we come back, we'll continue this conversation and talk about food. And we'll continue to talk about prenatal care and how we can help our unborn children to be healthier. Thanks for listening to Awaken Wellness with Milen Riobe, MD, right here on Dream Vision 7 Radio. Please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Area code 833-220-1200. We'll be right back.
What happens when we begin to realize that the 200-year experiment we've called the American healthcare system has failed? Learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness on Awakened Wellness with Milen Riobe, MD. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Time with live shows on the first and third mornings when you can call in and ask Dr. Milen the questions that matter most to you. Dr. Milen is the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jupiter, Florida. For more information, visit riobeintegrativemedicine.com. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you in for this dynamic, forward-thinking show.
Edesia is a U.S. nonprofit dedicated to the dream of ending childhood malnutrition for millions of children around the world. Through the manufacture of Plumpy Nut and other nutrient-rich, peanut-based, ready-to-use foods, Edesia has already delivered life and hope to nearly 1 million children in over 26 developing countries. To find out how you can join Edesia's dream of ending childhood malnutrition, please visit edesiaglobal.org.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Awakened Wellness with Milen Riobe, MD. I'm your host, Dr. Milen, and today we're talking about prenatal optimization, the hidden risks to your unborn baby that you should know. We're also going to talk about what you can do to begin to shift this alarming increase of childhood diseases that we're experiencing, and to look at a different paradigm, a new paradigm of prevention of disease rather than the prevention of death from disease. That will start to usher in a new era of much healthier, happier kids and families in our country. In our last segment, we talked about the alarming increase of childhood disease and the emerging studies linking toxins to childhood diseases. And so it's not far-fetched to link childhood cancers to this, since we know that unborn children are exposed to 180 known cancer-causing toxins before they're born. It's also not hard to link autism to this because the mechanisms really are quite similar. It just depends on your genetic makeup as to whether you get cancer or autism as a child. Many conditions are linked to toxins. It's just a matter of time. There are thousands and thousands of chemicals in our atmosphere, and only a few at a time can be studied. And so we're simply waiting to hear more and more about toxins that we just don't know yet. And we can pretty much assume that the news will likely not be good. And so it's time to look outside the box, look at a different paradigm, look at systems of medicine that do have prevention of disease as their paradigm, such as traditional Chinese medicine and functional medicine. And begin to...
Hi, Dr. Milen?
Yes.
Hi. It's Deborah. Thank you so much for your show. We just love it, and we're so inspired and happy that functional medicine and integrative medicine are on the rise.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I have a question on the prenatal vitamins. It's been years that they have pretty much the standard prenatal vitamins for moms. What are your thoughts on those? Are they sufficient for the mom and the unborn child?
Not in my opinion. Those recommendations are decades outdated. They are not really looking